Alright, time for the actual prologue. Let's go. Okay, so we have just exited the imaginary numbers dive from the Wandering Sea. We are a mere 1,000 meters before the wall of storms that surrounds the Chinese Lostbelt. By the way, chat, I didn't translate the prologue myself. My bad. I forgot about it. Oh! Holmes says that he is very impressed at the accuracy of the dive. And if it's Xion, he claims, she should be able to succeed in guiding our dive easily to any place besides the North or South Poles. However, being too accurate is also an issue. At this short distance, we already have no choice but to charge in. And as for Mr. Gordolf, it appears that his nervousness and fear of the poison has relapsed. He will be of no use for quite a while. And how about you, Ms. Daguda? Do you feel sufficiently prepared? Yeah, I'll manage. Very well. The mystic code you're currently wearing has been upgraded with Miss Xion's assistance. In the first place, survival functions are of paramount importance to a master. I will explain the details when we arrive on site, but Miss Kyrielite, is something the matter?
No, it's nothing. My preparations are complete too. There was the same warmth I felt during Scandinavia in the imaginary numbers dive just now, but... Hi, that's far enough. We're about to do a dive once more.
Da Vinci announces that in order to not waste the border's fuel, we'll be making use of the inertia from being pushed out of the Wandering Sea. Just like with Scandinavia, we'll have no idea where we end up once inside.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah? Oh yeah. Good news, Gordolf-kun. We've detected Koyanskaya in the Chinese Lostbelt.
What? Nani? Is that true? Technical consultant Leonardo, is that true?
Ah, this information was collected half a day ago, so there's no doubt about it. This is exactly two birds with one stone. Our chances of surfacing in the Lostbelt just went up in a one-shot, and we'll also be able to capture her to ask about the antidote. Munier, change the anchor from hypothetical surviving humans to Koyanskaya. Thanks.
Got it. But I'm already busy with just driving duties. Ah, damn it. I somehow had thought that if only Osan was in good condition. Koyanskaya's also in the Chinese Lostbelt, huh? Holmes states that although the news has come at last minute, it's trustworthy since it's a report from Da Vinci. Capturing Koyanskaya should be our primary objective in searching for an antidote to the poison. Not only will it help cure you and Gordolf, it will also eliminate a threat. At the same time, we can search for the cryptor. We can also apprehend them if necessary. Our final objective should be to cut down the fantasy tree that's taken root in this Lostbelt. The aforementioned are the contents of this operation. Is that fine, Director?
Irma, I'm getting motivated too. This is not the situation to be afraid of death. The time for being a gentleman is over. TV Koyonskaya. This time for certain, I will lay down an iron hammer on that hated, vile woman.
Foe! Foe!
Now, first off, aren't you getting a bit too hasty? Don't we need to capture her first?
Da Vinci says that if she doesn't spill the whereabouts of the antidote, or at least how to make it, it'll all be in vain.
Acknowledged. Apply limited force. No further gentleness need be considered. Capture and immediate torture are desired. So that no strange tricks are played, it'll be good to keep beating her down until her legs can no longer stand. China is my homeland, even if it may be a Lostbelt. The way of the air and the soil doesn't change. Therefore, this is my territory. The eradication of demons, leave it to me. Yes, we'll be counting on you, Neja-san.
All right, we're only 400 meters before the wall now. And with that, Da Vinci orders the border to dive once more. After checking all these parameters, Lostbelt 3. Now then, let's move on to chapter number 1. The Third Lostbelt. Oh, by the way, Lostbelt 3 is known as the Crimson Beauty Under the Moon. Forgot to say that. This is a woman talking, chat. Ooh, a woman.
An ill foreboding, like one was seen in a dream. For such a boring reason, you would drink from this poisoned cup. So, you think it is boring? You too are saying the same things as my wife. This poison was bestowed upon me from His Majesty himself. By just downing it with a single breath, and nothing more, His Majesty's ill humor can be easily traded away. As you know, I have offered up glories in battle far above my own station. The drawing of this curtain, well, could be due to living my life in an overly hurried manner. Incomprehensible. This is due to the pettiness of the Emperor. Why would one display loyalty unto death towards that fatuous ruler? That is how warriors are, though you may find it foolish. Hearing that you're at the hour of death, I come with a question. Should you wish for it, those who would make a mockery of your fate, and those who would force such empty loyalty, shall I not sink them all into a sea of blood? That's quite some anger you bear towards this poisoned cup. There's so much delight that my body just can't bear it. But Indeed, regrets and remorse. It's not to say that I have none. However, to live life thusly, and to die thusly, That is a life and death which befits I. Gao Chonggong. At this last moment of mine, yes, I am convinced of it. Incomprehensible. Truly incomprehensible. This life and death that you speak of. No. In the first place, I have no need to comprehend it. I, who can no longer understand death. That is right. In fact, I might be the one who should beg for your forgiveness. The peace and rest that I shall entrust my body to from now on. That's something that you can never have, no matter how much you wish for it. Perhaps I'm jealous of the death that you're about to reach, and of the dazzling life you had before you reached it. These words are wasted on me. I do not truly know and understand death. Even if I do not come to enlightenment, everything will already be in darkness. In the end, do you have anything you wish for? Well, if I may be allowed a wish at the end of what comes after death, if there's any hope for a connection to be made, someday, somewhere, I'd like to encounter you once more. What absurdly ludicrous nonsense these words are. No. Unexpectedly, this may not be something to laugh at. When all of you cut apart the rock, I saw it. I saw the rice being tended, sickness expelled, and even the river's flow changed. Though how much time that shall take, I do not know. However, the fated ones shall one day offer you their hand at the end of death. That too is a future that may come to pass. When that wondrous miracle occurs, should it reach my eyes at that time, I shall remember your final and dearest wish. Ah, such words to be thankful for. My bond with you has been the most valuable treasure for these 33 years of my life.
Back at the border, we have over the announcements we are being told about our condition being safe and sound. The border reports that banned human history remnant value here is A, and the Lostbelt depth is E. Minor hiccups, sorry chat. Mass asks us if we're alright, as she's worried about us. She says even though we aren't suffering from the poison, our condition isn't exactly top shape. I'm fine, just finding it a little hard to breathe.
How nice it must be to only have a little cold. If it's just the experience of asthma, I've had that too. But as the great bodybuilder and actor who later became a politician said in his autobiography, it's something that can be overcome with training. Unfortunately, I didn't get any muscles, though. What you need is guts, young man. This is not the time to worry about sickness and get faint-hearted.
It's Arnold. All about Arnold. Okay. Holmes points out that Gordolf is full of spirit, even after ingesting the same poison, so we should also be encouraged. Da Vinci agrees and says there's still days to spare. Since Gordolf's a mage, he should be used to hardship anyway.
Now then, what are the conditions outside? What's this? What's this?
Oh? Da Vinci gives us the info that outside the temperature is 18 Celsius, the humidity is 30%, there's a light breeze, no abnormal mono readings detected. From what Munier can see, there's nothing but wheat. The place seems normal compared to the Lostbelts that we've traveled to so far. There are no threats detected outside the vehicle either. Da Vinci gives us the green to venture outside. Tells us it's fine to go outside. This is China's Lostbelt. Oh. Da Vinci does a few measurements.
The longitude here is 32 degrees, 40 minutes north. The latitude, 110 degrees, 50 minutes east. In pan-human history, we should be right in the middle of Xi'an City, a large metropolis with a population of 3.4 million. However,
Ash says here it's all wheat fields. And Holmes remarks that the cultivated area appears to be considerably large.
the smell of this wind. Make no mistake, this is my great country. But I do not remember such scenery. Troubling and depressing. From the start, my standing as a guide is none. There. It's a Lostbelt, so it can't be helped. We'll have you contribute from a greater perspective, Neja. Anyway, I've checked for ley lines. One's near, not even a kilometer away. Although the scenery's unexpected, there's no danger, so isn't this quite an auspicious start? First off, let's have the Shadow Border drive there and set up a summoning circle.
Roger. All right, starting up the engines. Munier proceeds to do so. And he parks us near a wall where the ley line is.
There doesn't appear to be anything that looks suspicious in the area, but somehow something feels off to me. That's right. It's a bit too quiet. We should see farming machines around for a wheat field of this size.
Goes on to say that what buildings are seen are very simple and of a style that Da Vinci has never seen before. She says they might be communal housing. Communal housing? Like an apartment?
Yes, right. But I don't feel like calling that much of a building. Although they can perform large-scale leveling of the ground, what's with those cave-like homes? It's like they're in the Stone Age. Is this a world where civilization didn't flourish? Someone's coming. Should we try talking to them?
Yes, we should. However, you should remain careful. I don't believe they're a threat, but they may think that you are a threat to them. Ah? Who are these people? What do you think you're doing in our fields?
Hey, I've never seen that clothing before. Are they... what do you call it? Foreigners?
Gaijin? Foreigners? Why are they here? Did they come out of that strange storm? This is pretty big news. Get a representative, quickly. Oh. Mash confirms that her translation function is currently working with no issues. Da Vinci analyzes the language that they spoke. She says it's middle-aged Han, a language predating the Song dynasty.
Conversation established. Good trend. However, we scared them. That might not be good.
Oi! It's true foreigners actually are here!
The farmers point us out to their representatives, saying that we appeared out of nowhere in the wheat fields, riding in a strange box and wearing clothes they've never seen before, and holding what appear to be weapons. This is bad. This pattern means things are going to get rough. Gouda, help! Holmes's explanations only add oil to the fire. Resolve this misunderstanding peacefully. And where exactly is the problem with my explanations? I get it. We're not weird people. We're not strange people. He talked.
Would any normal person appear right in the middle of the fields in those outfits?
Representative son, chase him out. The wheat's already all messed up.
All right, take this. Get out of here.
It looks like everyone is getting riled up. What should we do? Mash says.
Foe!
Holmes says that there will be no room for negotiation until they've calmed down. Munier shouts at him for just standing by and analyzing the situation, asking if we shouldn't use some sort of charms or something on the farmers right now. And Da Vinci says, unfortunately, amongst those here, only Gordolf would be able to use that magecraft. And right now, he's shut himself up inside of the border. And in the first place, he's only claimed that he was able to use it, so there's no proof. It would be made easy if we could just summon a servant capable of using a charm skill, but right now we haven't tapped into the ley line yet. And so, a fight is unavoidable. Why, they will settle down once they've had their fill of violence. The antinomy of that is peaceful violence. Truly, 'tis a problem befitting of my Biritsu. But here I shall leave it to you.
I see. Your wounds are still hurting. Then I guess there's no choice. Mash! Neja! Deal with them without hurting them. Understood. I wish to avoid the overuse of martial strength. We'll pay attention to holding back strength. Yes, we'll retaliate in a gentlemanly manner. Those are the teachings of Biritsu, Master.
Hooray! We beat the farmers. How were we capable of defeating such accomplished farmers? Okay, back in the border, Gordolf is worryingly asking about the sounds of battle. Mash reports there was indeed a battle. There was a clash with the locals, and for now they've retreated. Holmes says that it was due to Mash and Neja's gentlemanly fighting style, which conveyed that we had no killing or hostile intent. Back of the blade. That's right. The villagers are now cautiously watching the border from afar. There don't seem to be any enemy reinforcements coming either, so the situation is safe for now. Gordolf seems relieved that it has ended with that for now. He says that the farmers at least have the calm to infer that you might be stray travelers struck here. He asks about the servant summoning. He's asking, however, how did the servant summoning go? Mash replies that Da Vinci was setting up the summoning circles outside and seems to have been having trouble with it.
That's right. Just wait for a little bit longer. I'm doing all sorts of adjustments at the moment. The trouble I spoke of is a trouble I expected, so don't worry about it.
Da Vinci, is it really alright to have this strange machine attached to Mash's shield? It looks really weird, like it's not even made on Earth.
Ah, that thing. It's a booster I borrowed from Xion. Somehow, one of this can be used to construct 3 servants worth of Saint Crafts. Something Cell, she called it, I think.
Uh-oh.
Although it'll burn out after being used once. This time, 2 lives are at stake, so we'll spare no expense. Alright, next is to stand by at the base state. Once there's a response from the servant's end, it'll move into an excitation state and begin the summoning. So with that, it's just a matter of time. If there is a servant who has a bond with Gouda, they'll answer and be summoned, even in this Lostbelt.
I see. Well done. Technical consultant. Now then. Time to summon a skilled caster who can brainwash all of those barbarians in one shot. This time, our situation is in an emergency, and we need to resolve things quickly.
Oh! Mr. Gouda, are you alright with that policy? No, brainwashing's a little... Well, why don't you calm down there, Director?
Eh? How could I calm down? You're involved in this too, you know?
At any rate, the summoning will take time. Right now, we should proceed with negotiations. As they say, Mr. Gordolf, let sleeping dogs lie.
Then, who should be the one to carry out those friendly negotiations? Gouda failed, did he not? Amongst us, where would we find an angel with the angelic smile to calm down even those barbarians?
An angel!
Yes, we're travelers and currently in a spot of trouble because we're lost.
Lost, I see. Travel, I see. Yeah, that really sounds like trouble.
That's why we definitely didn't mean anything bad by ruining your field. Please, could you forgive us?
Yeah, well, we can just plow that field again.
Yeah, rather than that, being able to talk to such a cute girl makes me feel, like I'm really motivated to plow that field hard once more.
Oh.
Da Vinci really is scary. She didn't exactly lie, but...
She's like an angel, and yet a devil.
Seriously, why are all the men all ogling her while grinning? That outsider's getting really annoying. That's right. Then that one's definitely strange. Even Representative San was beaten black and blue terribly.
Eyes flashing, certain that right here is the time to strike. Please pardon me for the sudden intrusion, madam. I offer you my apologies for this mess made in the field. That's why, please do understand, we truly want to resolve this through words. However, we have strayed off of our path and now know not our left from our right. Could you please enlighten me as to which land this is? You are the only ones that I can count on.
That's... well, saying that you're counting on us, eh? Yeah. For such a dashing gentleman to make such a troubled face, well, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we just talked. Just a little bit.
Oh. Holmes does have a good-looking face, but that appearance is nothing but suspicious.
Agreed. What were we fighting for just now, Mash? Perhaps there may have been a better way.
Mounier comments that the villagers only acted hostilely out of fear, and that they seem to have a fundamentally moderate temperament. By the way, Da Vinci, what was it about those troubles you had with the Spiritual Foundation graph earlier? Da Vinci says the problem she had was solved and yet not solved at the same time. She says the underlying reason is some sort of mystery, but there is no response at all from the Throne of Heroes. It's not an issue with the equipment, so Da Vinci concludes that it's an issue with this world. And though, since the chances of heroic spirits originating from the Lostbelt being cooperative is low as it is, she didn't really have any high hopes in the first place. So instead of summoning from the throne, she switched to summoning from Caldia's Spiritual Foundation graph. And at the moment, it's currently waiting for heroic spirits to answer the call, and we'll have to wait for just a bit.
Senpai, just what is going on?
I don't really understand. Maybe no one's there?
Yeah, since the path to the Throne of Heroes is my bond with it, it is possible that there's none to be found here.
Oh. Da Vinci goes on to explain that this means that the definition of heroic spirit in this Lostbelt is different from our definition. Gordolf begins complaining about the conversation being hard to follow, while Holmes finds the implications rather interesting, an indicator to the truth about this Lostbelt. However, I won't say anything at the moment. I decide to gather more information first.
Oh yeah, you talk like you've already arrived at the rough idea of things though, Holmes.
It is just a hypothesis. A detective will only speak of his deductions when all evident proof has been gathered. The air here is nice.
Yes, it's been long since we've been able to take a deep breath in such a calm environment. Ever since the Lostbelts appeared, the Shadow Border has been our only safe area. No, we have the Coldia base now, too. To be enveloped by commonplace scenery in the open air is... Are? Senpai, what's that in the sky?
Right above us is a string.
Nobody seems to be making a fuss over it, so maybe it's a natural phenomenon here.
Mash says that it seems like it's no biggie, and they're all focused on Da Vinci instead.
Then what is the era name of the current period?
Era name? What's that?
What year is this?
I'm 22 this year. We start working at the age of 5, and the fields have been sowed 17 times so far. The calculations seem right?
No, what about an almanac? Well, that's decided from the time that you sow the seeds and the time you reap them. You can only find out by watching the moon. That's what an almanac is, right?
Then who is the greatest person in this world?
Who? Of course, that has to be the great Son of Heaven.
And the name of this Son of Heaven, this Child of Heaven?
Name? There ain't such a thing. The Son of Heaven is the Son of Heaven. Do you give the sun or the moon a name too?
Then where is this Son of Heaven?
Well, of course, the Son of Heaven is at the capital.
And where's the capital?
It's right over there. You gotta keep on walking straight for a long time, though.
Have you been there before?
Huh? Of course not. Why would someone like me even go?
We just worship in gratitude. After all, we're the ones blessed by the Son of Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
What's something wrong?
Senpai, do you smell something?
Is it my body cologne? Certainly, I've started using a wilder American product after arriving here, but...
No, it's not that smell. It's an inhuman smell, closer to that of a beast. This presence, it can't be mistaken. Those that hunger for blood are coming.
What was that? Whoa! Something weird came again.
This is Russia's the Kritchats from Russia's Lostbelt, aren't they? Why are they in a place like this?
Holmes tells her that we'll have to think about that later. First, our top priority for now must be to protect the villagers. And then we fight. We win. Those just there were from the Russian Lostbelt. Da Vinci says that it's very odd for Russian Lostbelt animals to have arrived here. She wonders how it's even possible. You over there, have you ever seen any animals like this before? The villagers say that they've never seen anything like this before. It's the first time they've ever seen something like that since they were born. The village representative usually handles the extermination of animal pests, but that's mostly limited to things like boars and monkeys. He's never seen something as terrifying as that either.
Please, don't worry. As long as we're here, we'll lend you our strength. Think of it as an apology for messing up your fields. Right, Master?
Of course! And it might not even be unrelated to us.
Wait just a minute, you guys. We didn't come here to safeguard the peace of this village.
Holmes stops him there and says that Mash's judgment is correct. The Kritchat should not be in this world. Their appearance is an oddity that can't be overlooked. It's a case that must be solved. So, how are you feeling, Gouda? I mean, I guess we're okay. No big issues, no biggies. Okay, Da Vinci completes her checkup, and she says that our vital signs are in good condition. Though, of course, we can't get careless. The commander seems to be looking a little poorly, though. Perhaps you should return to your quarters and rest.
Shut up! I'm just having a little heartburn from eating too much cake. I am full of vigor right now, so it's no big deal, since even a lower-level combatant is feeling fine.
Munier says it seems that Gordolf is putting on a bit of a brave face to save face with us. Holmes says that we haven't really gotten any clues from conversing with the locals, and without information we can't determine how we should act. Gordolf insists that going after Koyanskaya is the highest priority. Holmes agrees with this assessment. She wouldn't have come to this Lostbelt without a reason or a plan. However, how do we get her to show up? Running around blindly isn't going to help, as this is a Lostbelt. A cryptor is here as well. And they will be guarding the fantasy tree, just like in Scandinavia. And though, like with Scandinavia, the tree is nowhere to be seen at the moment. That's concerning too. Although in Russia, that large tree could be seen even on the horizon. To be unable to see it around here means, as was the case in Scandinavia, it has been camouflaged by some measure. The one standing at the top of this Lostbelt has understood the tree to be something that needs to be hidden.
Yes. If it is the secret arts of the immortals, it is not impossible to make even a mountain disappear.
I don't really want to think about making enemies with someone like that, but I guess up until now. We can't just leave after capturing Koyanskaya. Holmes goes on to say that this is a Lostbelt threatening pan-human history. So, a conflict with the Cryptors should be unavoidable no matter what. Gordolf urges us to proceed with the search for Koyanskaya if that's the case, rather than being overly good guys and acting as guards for this village.
Well, it's not that I don't understand the feelings of those villagers being attacked suddenly by those Kritchat, but...
No, this should also be considered as part of the investigation, Mr. Gordolf.
Oh?
The hostile life forms earlier, they were unmistakably of the same species as the Kritchat we fought in Russia. However, do remember, the Kritchat are magical beasts that evolved in the Russian Lostbelt's environment. Their biological characteristics are mostly adapted for survival in an extremely cold climate. In fact, they would be unsuitable for living in the moderate climate of the Chinese Lostbelt. Ah, I see. That's why Mash and Gouda...
Yes, this is definitely not unrelated to us. If those creatures are in a different Lostbelt, it's possible that someone brought them here. The suspect would have to be someone who can move freely between Lostbelts.
I'm sorry. The suspect would have to be someone who can move freely between Lostbelts. Other than Kaldia, there is only one other person. TV Koyanskaya. That is correct, Mr. Gouda. An interjection befitting that of Watson's, right into the heart of the matter. Holmes explains that thus, in order to search for Koyanskaya, these Kritchat appear to be our only lead at the moment. Da Vinci interrupts, saying that she sent out a drone to look for the capital that the villagers were talking about. She'll display it on screen in just a moment. The exact correct answer, what the hell is that? In all honesty, I have no comment about this as well.
We can discard the possibility that this is a Chinese history where civilization did not advance. This world already has the science and technology necessary to construct such a metropolis. Actually, that stupid huge structure isn't being supported by any form of pillars. It's clearly floating. No matter how you look at it, it's not a balloon or an airship. So how is something that massive flying? Is this a world where magecraft is being used openly? Or is this a world where science and technology alone are enough to control gravity? If so, then from a technological perspective, this is more advanced than pan-human history. Furthermore, there's that strange line that cuts across the sky. I've also captured an image with telephoto imaging. This is at the largest magnification.
What the hell is that?
It's about 2,000 kilometers away above us, just within low Earth orbit. The width is about 5 kilometers, and the measurable length spans from one end of the storm cloud around the Lostbelt to the other end. Amazing.
Why didn't we see it before entering the Lostbelt? If it's at an altitude of 2,000 kilometers, that's actually higher than the storm cloud, you know? Da Vinci explains that the boundary of the Lostbelt cuts off all forms of information. So long as this gigantic structure was constructed inside of this Lostbelt's history, it's impossible to detect its presence from the outside by any means. She says at any rate, its purpose and true form is unknown. If it was truly built by the humans of this world, then Da Vinci's even more confused. She says that in all directions, there are no structures like that of the capital. Nothing but fields of wheat. It's hard to determine whether this civilization is more or less advanced than pan-human history. Regardless of how this result came about through wherever history branched off, Da Vinci, from the distance and angle, can you determine the coordinates of that large city? Can you overlap it with the known Chinese mainland? There should be records detailing which dynasty has a capital that exists in that location, correct?
Eh? Are we going there already? I wanted to act pompous a bit more.
I understand full well the feeling of wanting to give a theatrical display of information. However, you're the only one capable of the calculations and investigations necessary. So please give in.
Yes, I'll go ahead and do it.
Da Vinci does as requested and matches the location of the floating city to a location in pan-human history. Xianyang. Or Kanyo, as the Furigana says, but that's wrong.
Xianyang? Then that's...
Umu, the Qin dynasty.
Qin? That's in the BC era. That means before the Three Kingdoms. Even before Zhang Yu and Liu Bang. Yes, the Great Empire around 200 BC. It's known for having the first person to claim the title of emperor in China. The country governed by the first emperor.
Oh, chat.
So that is Caldia. Your enemy. Yes, they are not only my hated enemies, but also foreign enemies who threaten your majesty, and accordingly, the peace and prosperity of the Qin Empire. Those are the heroic spirits led by that person.
I see. They are currently surprising existences. To summon as their servants the souls of heroes recorded throughout their history. Master, you said. However, it's incomprehensible. It's not that I doubt your words, but to overturn my rock-steady reign with that small force. It is hard to believe.
Do not underestimate heroic spirits. Those summoned by the counterforce have been granted a great power as the ones responsible for continuing the human order. That's why they bear martial prowess that allows each of them to rival 1,000.
Umu, that which you spoke of, Alaya, was it? The collective will of humanity. That matter is something I absolutely don't understand. Does your world permit such ridiculous nonsense to be spread?
Your Majesty is absolutely correct. My world was a chaotic one, whereas your Majesty's reign was far from completed.
How typical. In the first place, going through such meandering complications to resuscitate the souls of dead heroes as servants, it reaches the heights of absurdity. A world that's so unstable that it must be mended. Why does it continue to survive, I wonder?
But it is true that Caldea's master is a foreign enemy, Your Imperial Majesty.
Ah, you are also a visitor from the same world as Akuta. Kominskia or something.
It's Koyanskaya. Isn't it about time you remembered my name, at least?
Watch your words. You're being rude in the Son of Heaven's presence.
By the way, his name, I didn't say, his name is Captain of the Guard. It is fine. They are rare guests from outside the territory which I rule. There's no need to impose the etiquette of this world upon them.
I'm terribly grateful. I know that this admonition offered to your Almighty Majesty is impertinent in nature. However, they have brought some strange creatures from somewhere else with them, threatening the safety of your Majesty's citizens, are they not? It's a huge problem of quarantine. They can't be left alone, can they? Your Majesty, please consider. Once they reveal their brutish nature, it will be too late.
If you have said that much, then why not sally forth yourself? There is one serving you, is there not? The puppet that is a servant.
That is... yes, of course. Those who would disturb the order of Qin's eternal paradise shall not be overlooked, and so I shall go immediately. Very well.
Very well. First, let me see in detail the true worth of another world's military force.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Or, literally, that would be a salute. As she goes, ha ha!
That went better than expected. The Emperor is easier to manipulate than I thought.
Oh, sorry. She continued on to say,
Anyway, I'll leave the rest to you. So let's win quit real quick, okay?
oh, my bad.
I didn't read Hinaka's. Although I had hoped for that, it can't be helped. He's a tricky opponent after all. That's why I'm really sorry it sort of ended up falling on you in the end. I'll leave the rest to you, so let's run real quick, okay?
There we go.
You're talking quite comfortably for someone who called in an unneeded disaster. Yeah. Don't make such a scary face. Koyanskaya-chan is gonna cry. In this way, Akuta-chan and I are in the same boat. In the first place, Caldea's master is an enemy to any crypter, isn't he? That's right. No matter whose territory he enters, he needs to be taken care of. But there are people better than me at this elsewhere. are there not? Why bring him into my China? He's come chasing after you, right? This is really a pain. Hey? I thought Akita-chan would be the most reliable. Well, in having an exclusively defensive policy. Actually, Beryl-san asked me to try a little assassination, but I ran into some unexpected trouble, and it sort of failed a bite. The poison I used at the time was called Xiansui Mingmai. Xiansui Mingmai.
Or Sage Degenerating Death Pulse. Which is a cool name.
If it's Akita-chan, then you know something about that, don't you? You. Yeah? You know of it after all. You really are a know-it-all, oh you. Well, what happened after that is predictable, isn't it? What they do in order to cure the poison. Koyanskaya. You purposely... I didn't. This time it was 90% in hindsight. In fact, I immediately came to warn you since I felt responsible for this. See, right now Caldia has humanity's greatest inventor and detective in their lineup, don't they? They're not the sort to have intelligence without insight. The origin of the poison would have been discovered immediately. Therefore, rather than trying to cover things up in vain, it'd be better to move quickly and strengthen the defenses. And with that thought, I invited myself here. It's not like we're strangers, are we? I can lend my strength while intercepting Caldia. Right? We are both comrades in misanthropy. It is the natural order of things that we cooperate, isn't it?
She says specifically, we both hate humans, so it makes sense for us to cooperate, right? To make it a little more literal.
That's right. I can trust you on this point. However, what is your intention behind those untrustworthy pets of yours? Yeah, don't call them that. Pets are an evil of humanity. Those children have their own dignity as wildlife. Are they not killing the inhabitants on your orders? Of course not. Tormenting and killing humans is my pleasure. I have no intention of handing it over to anyone else. Those children are just desperately seeking out ways to survive, searching for food while trying their best to live in an unfamiliar environment. Aren't they just so much cuter than the defanged and tamed animals like the humans in this country? That's not the problem. You brought in magical beasts and monsters from other Lostbelts and released them into the wild here. You won't be let off easy if Shi Huangdi finds out, you know. Well, that is my life's work, which serves as both my beliefs and my profit. So don't mind me. It won't cause you any trouble. You have it, don't you, Akita-chan? Your own life's work? If we don't interfere with each other there, it'll help maintain a better atmosphere, right? Well, fine. There's no use complaining now. I'm finally able to do as I please with this stabilized Chinese Lostbelt. Alright, Saber. Do not show any mercy. Haha! Leave it to me. I shall surely answer to your expectations. Since when? That masked one has the presence of a really good-looking guy, doesn't he? Yada! Akata-chan's so sly. You're surrounding only yourself with young lovers. It's not like that. Ah, jeez, just shut up, you vixen.
You bitch, Fox. Alright. Section 1. Done. Let us move to Section 2. Lostbelt, Section 2. The Perpetual Empire.
The first emperor.
First Emperor? Isn't that a little too far back? There's no way he could have survived until 2018.
That's if you think about it logically. But just recently we encountered a Thunder Emperor that lived for 500 years. An Emperor that lived for 2,200 years shouldn't be too surprising, right?
Qin was a leading nation that carried out rather quick reforms to things like political and legal organization, unit denominations, and currency. China would later see its later dynasties experiencing cycles of prosperity and decline. However, this flux of fortune in history can only be seen as a detour from the perspective of civilization's growth. If the Qin Empire's reign firmly continues on, developing while overwhelming and engulfing its foreign adversaries, that could possibly indicate that the hands of the clock of human history have been turning too fast.
Yeah. If capable leaders like Shi Huangdi firmly continue their reign, it is a possible outcome. In reality, it was Shi Huangdi's scheme and reason to search for immortality. Qin's collapse. It can be linked to political instability arising from Shi Huangdi's death, right?
Like how the Thunder Emperor Ivan was turned into a Yaga, it's likely that Shi Huangdi obtained immortality through a method beyond our imagination. It wouldn't be impossible to have overcome all the subsequent conflicts in Chinese history and reach modern times.
By reaching the 21st century with that figure, it's possible to defy the absurd and spread out such a large construct into satellite orbit. Yeah, Shi Huangdi is rather the type to make winning bets.
In any case, there's no doubt that revolutions to social institutions corresponding to scientific development has yet to occur. As long as there's a certain degree of scientific development, things like an absolute monarchy would fall to ruin. But take a look at this farm village. It's just stuck in a BC-like state, huh? Whoever that son of heaven in Xuanyang is, they have no intention of bestowing the benefits of technology upon the masses.
Hold on a second.
Interrupting the conversation, Da Vinci says it looks like something from Xuanyang was launched and is currently headed towards our area at the farm village. Mash notices that it looks like a rocket has been fired at us. A nearby villager says that it contains alms. after questioned about it, he says that they're rewards bestowed to the common folk for festive occasions by the Son of Heaven. The rocket always drops at a fixed location, a safe distance from the village. The villagers question why they would be getting one now. Mash wonders if it's just a container.
Unfortunately, no. There are living things in that, and a familiar mana response. There's no doubt. It's a master and a servant. In short, enemy attack. Then all there is to steal your resolve.
Oh, foe! Oi, oi. They're going to appear from that.
Rather than a vehicle, that thing is clearly in freefall and going to crash, is it not?
But that shouldn't pose a problem if it's a servant accompanying a master.
I'd just leave the landing to the servant.
That's right. As expected of Gudakun. You know how to use your servants. The rocket is falling. Prepare for impact.
Ah, they appeared just as expected. The Cryptor.
That's Akuta Hinako. I see, China is her territory. Akuta-san. What a serious expression, Mash Kirie Light. I was expecting you to be vulgarly laughing. I wouldn't laugh. It's not fun for us to oppose everyone. Then that's even more incorrigible. You beasts that lack prudence over the shamefulness of your actions. I have no intention to detest all of you and despise all of you. That revulsiveness doesn't deserve to move hearts. All that needs to be done is to exterminate you like insects. That can't be. Are you really Akuta Hinako? You're a totally different person from the records when you were back at Caldia. Da Vinci. So it was true that you were really killed. That body. I can't believe it, but a territory that humans cannot reach so long as they possess intelligence. A true infant that sentient life forms aim for. You made that, Leonardo. Humans really are. No. As long as you belong to Caldia, you're my enemies. I will not show warmth. Saber, my servant. Dispose of them. Don't taint my eyes any further. As your heart wills, my master. They're coming, master. Cryptor, Akuta Hinako. And her servant, Saber, engaging in battle.
We won the battle, chat. Man, that was a quick battle. Ophelia is displeased with the results of us winning the battle. She admits that she is now aware that our strength and experience managed to push back Ophelia and Kadok. She says it was her fault for underestimating us, and orders her saber to pull back with her.
Akuta-san. Master, the enemy has retreated. The battle is over.
Oh, foe!
Munier is rather shocked by how resolute Hinako was in retreating. Holmes speculates that it's likely she hasn't shown her true cards yet. Neja agrees. Hinako was likely just testing our strength, and is definitely far more powerful than what we saw in the earlier fight.
It's a difficult opponent, huh? That earlier declaration to wipe us out like insects isn't a lie. She challenged to wipe us out with a complete victory. There's no room for competitive winning or losing. If she's going all out, she'd retreat to fortify her strategy. It's likely that kind of psychology. Looks having a cleanliness obsession disorder, and the data records were true.
You have shown quite the pathetic display. But it's nothing to laugh at. That was quite the fight with that so-called Caldia.
My disgraceful behavior is of my own utter unworthiness. However, Your Majesty is now aware of the extent of those invaders' threat.
Threat? Are they truly a threat? To strike me with terror merely from you disengaging from battle? Well, I shall acknowledge that it was an entertaining spectacle. Very well. Proceed. Instead of coins, I will bestow 10 puppet warriors to your side. I look forward to the second act.
With all due respect, Your Majesty, to deem this current crisis as mere amusement.
That is my line, Akata. I can only see this as a game if you are wielding the sword from your waist. If you truly want to fight, then go forth towards victory. What do you seek to achieve by escaping before losing a limb?
I understand. Next time, surely.
Very well. I expect a duel worthy of impression.
Oh, Your Majesty is such a meanie. Could it be you were actually bullying Akata-chan?
Was that how it looked like, Kominsky?
Koyanskaya.
Bullying or not, I've yet to deem the Caldia group as an enemy. As visitors from a foreign world, you and Akata are no exception.
Eh? No, well, that is indeed true.
If those people are indeed invaders, then we will need to determine if you two were the vanguard sent in advance.
Haven't Akata-chan and I done our proper greetings with Your Majesty? However, Caldia is just ruffians that trod into Your Majesty's land without any restraint. Isn't that already a huge difference?
Indeed. Isn't that why that Akata has gone off to chastise her fellow folk for their insolence? Ha ha ha! Decorum is truly a strict turning point for outsiders. What kind of person is Akata Hinako? Da Vinci says that before her, she seemed like a completely different person from the records. Mesh says that according to Kadok, she's rumored to have many personal connections with director Marsbilly. Da Vinci says this is news to her, but says it's possible that Kadok was led to think that way. Mash asks what she means.
I was wondering if it could have been because she kept contact within a considerable distance. I think that towards anyone, Okta Hinako was careful enough to make that arrangement. Avoiding hostile and bad impressions, and yet not leaving a favorable or good impression as well. By doing so, she remains the faintest presence amongst A-Team's members. Possibly the position was what she was consciously maintaining.
In short, a hardcore misanthrope.
That's right, but it's better to mince your words a little, you know, Great Detective? Certainly. She had a personality that preferred solitude. She was a characteristic for not having much contact with other people. Anyway, she was a quiet person. I haven't seen her laugh or get angry.
Somehow, she was always holding a book while walking and reading in a corner of the room. There was just an atmosphere where it was hard to disturb her.
Truthfully, regardless of her master aptitude, her personality was supposedly not fit for battle. Even after becoming our enemy as a cryptor, perhaps she still could peacefully resolve this through talking, was what I thought based on our data.
Well, your expectations were way off. What was that? Those cold eyes as if they were looking at cattle. I've never seen that kind of wintry gaze before. That was the kind of look I got sometimes when I tried to touch Koenskaya-kun whilst dead drunk.
Yeah, that was a great shift from her quiet personality recorded in the data. That fierce hostility. No, likely around the level of a physiological hate. Anyway, it was unexpected.
Mash suddenly recalls a scene from the past. Shortly after the formation of A-Team back in Caldia, there was a time in the recreation room where everyone was just mingling with each other. Kadok was slowly drinking something while Beryl was offering some encouragement. Kirshtaria and David were discussing about mythology. Peperoncino was lightly teasing Ophelia over some kind of joke. And yet, Hinako did not join anyone, and just read her book silently. Coincidentally, when Mash wiped her cup, she saw Hinako's reflection and realized something was different. Hinako was not really reading her book, but she was using it to hide her gaze as she silently observed everyone else. As though she was cautious, as though afraid of something. When Mash turned to look at her, she noticed Hinako suddenly back to quote-unquote reading her book again.
What an eerie story.
Mash describes it as it didn't seem like Hinako had an interest in the other A-Team members, but rather she was on constant alert. She didn't think much about it back then, but was aware it was some kind of a taboo topic. Da Vinci says she'll have Holmes check through the data records and see if they can pull anything else out.
Holmes, can you handle this? It is your profession, right? This kind of stuff. Investigation into adultery.
Putting aside adultery investigations, this is the place for me to do my job as a detective. I accept. Send the data to my workshop. Suddenly, The alarm goes off, and it looks as though another rocket has been fired from Shenyang to the same place where we fought Hinako earlier. Likely her reinforcements. Mash thinks so as well. Holmes queries about the servant summoning, wondering if we are prepared for it or not. Da Vinci confirms that it has just completed, since the enemy is the Qin Empire and Shi Huangdi.
I've brought out the 3 rebel musketeers.
3 rebel musketeers? Oh, sorry.
First off is the rebel of the Round Table, Mordred. Yo, nice to meet ya. Followed by the slave gladiator and liberator, Spartacus.
I heard that there are oppressors!
And lastly, the expert on assassinating Shi Huangdi, Jing Kei.
It makes such perfect sense for her to be here.
Wait a moment, what is this? What kind of treatment is this?
I know, right?
Overthrowing Qin, right? Shi Huangdi, correct? Killing that man once more, right? Then I am clearly the most suitable person for dealing with all of these issues. What's with this? These 3 rebel musketeers? No matter how you think about it, my sync graph is strengthened by fame and lore, and my noble phantasm should be further sublimated to higher precision. And yet, what is this treatment? No, I don't have any qualms against being summoned, but... pitiful.
Now, we too also harbor anger towards the oppressors. Please, Jinkei, the heroic spirit of assassination, allow us to fight together!
That's right. Claudia's also fought with Father numerous times. Shi Huangdi, right? Fine with me, let's do it. I don't know if he's a minor Roman emperor from somewhere, but there's plenty of chances to kill him.
Somehow, don't you think that Mordred is being led by Spartacus and nothing is getting through?
That shouldn't be. Well, she was like that in Camelot, but she was a reliable knight in London.
There's a bit more minor banter, mostly about them talking about how they're gonna work together. Fantastic. Until Da Vinci interrupts them to tell them that the enemy is nearby. Foot soldiers? No, that thing is not human. Is it a puppet? A kind of automata? The masked saber confirms Holmes' question. These reinforcements will allow him to display his prowess as a general. Neja also realizes something upon seeing the automata. And Hinako orders her saber to attack. Oh, I'm sorry.
Indeed! Now we 3 rebel musketeers shall...
Stop that! Spacco. Did you really like that name?
He likes the name of the 3 rebel musketeers. Aw. Alright, and now the battle will begin. After Jinkei manages to parry the mass saber attack, Holmes is successful in deducing the identity of this servant. The Prince of Lanling, Gao Changgong. Hinako immediately commands her servant to pull back and reformulate their strategy. Seiba is reluctant, but agrees with her reasoning. Oh. Oh.
Are you alright, Master?
Jinkei asks us about our condition. I'm fine. You know, just a little feverish. So pretty much that is the servants asking us a little bit about our feeling. And reminds us not to push ourselves too hard because we might burn mana carelessly. Mordred says that she found the fight earlier too easy. Da Vinci, on the other hand, is surprised by the use of the rocket to transport the automata. She says it makes sense since they aren't alive and they can withstand the impact from crashing, though. Holmes says we should retrieve the remains of the automata for analysis, since it might be possible to find out more about this world.
What's wrong, Neja? Is something bothering you? Yes, possibly. The remains of the enemy. Later, let me take a look.
I'm rather disappointed by your poor performance. So, the Emperor says that while he's disappointed, he is rather intrigued by the combat prowess of servants. He says since it'll be difficult for her to win just with her servant, why not deploy Zhang Yu?
Lord Zhang Yu, however that...
Indeed, within my administration, that is still a capable retainer. However, that thing is a pawn capable of standing before foreign enemies. Under these present circumstances, it'll be regrettable if Zhang Yang was to erode. Therefore, I entrust it with you. Use it with excellence.
Certainly. I humbly accept this unanticipated joy with much obligation, Your Majesty.
Well, if that thing will be on the front lines, I'll need to provide sufficient backup. This will take some time, so proceed with surveillance and restrain that Koldia group should they display any threatening activities.
Yes, understood. My goodness, Akata-chan getting all riled up. So she still has a cute side to her after all. Though, having Zhang Yu here, Your Majesty, aren't you being too playful?
How strange. You deem me to be playing, Koyanskya? Onanskya?
It's Koyanskaya. If you've acknowledged Kaldi as a threat, the simplest approach is to settle it once and for all with an impregnable attack. There's no time for your majesty to simply treat this as a bothersome matter. All there needs to be done is for you to take action.
Well, yes.
Allow me to remind you that Akuta Hinako is your ally.
She goes further to say that he needs to be a lot more resolute with his decisions. Yes, indeed. I have grasped that the Kaldia group are basically like cornered mice. And thus, for Akuta, I'd like to see what kind of hand she'll play in order to seize the opportunity to win.
As I feared, he still's yet to trust both Akuta-chan and I. Well, I suppose this is a Lostbelt king after all. His perceptions are keen, but I can't tell how serious he's being as well. Jeez. Being unable to see his face is certainly a problem.
The Emperor moves on to talk about his amazement with the combat prowess of servants. And Koyanskaya adds that there are different kind of magical arts, unlike the sage arts that are used in the Qin Empire. During times of crisis for that side of the world, they lament and undertake the assistance of the past deceased. Such logic should be correct, yes? Korean Chihuahua?
Yes, it's as you have discerned. Also, it's Koyanskaya.
Such a wild and frightening tale. A history where the deceased are not even permitted their final rest. Heroic spirits and the like do not exist within my region. Within my reign, I mean. The honor that's buried along with the dead is not a plague to this tranquil area.
As you have said, in this world, a foundation like the Counterforce doesn't even exist in the first place.
The Emperor says that the use of servants by the outsiders are far more fearsome and brazen than the sleeping heroes in Li Shan, which he has gathered in case of a national crisis. Well, it can't be helped. They are but a necessary measure. Awaken the cryo-sleeping heroes.
As you command.
Wow! Have you finally decided to get serious?
Ro? Wow. Alright, let's move on to Section 3.